You know that feeling, right? When someone gives you a truly genuine, out-of-the-blue thank you. It kind of just stops you in your tracks and makes you feel, well, seen. Today, we're going to dive into how that simple moment isn't just a nice feeling. It's actually one of the most powerful tools you have for building real, lasting relationships. Just think about it for a second. When was the last time that happened to you? Maybe it was just a quick text, an email, or maybe even an old-school handwritten card. I bet that small gesture had a way bigger impact than the person sending it even realized. That's the power we're here to unpack.
All right, let's get into this. We usually think of thank you notes as a bit old-fashioned, something you do just to be polite. But I want you to completely reframe that idea. In a world that is moving at lightning speed, taking a moment to show you genuinely appreciate someone, that is a massive strategic advantage. It's a modern superpower for connection, for sure.
So, why does this work so well? I mean, what's the big deal? It all comes down to the psychology of feeling valued. We're going to look at the science of being seen and how that simple act of acknowledgement kicks off this incredible chain reaction.
First, I want you to think of a thank you note this way. It's a deliberate pause. In our world of nonstop notifications and just constant motion, you're basically showing someone that you stopped everything just for them. You took a moment out of your crazy life to acknowledge what they did, and that simple act of slowing down, it speaks volumes.
And here's the other piece of the puzzle. Unlike an email that just gets buried, or a text that you forget about 2 seconds later, a physical note is, well, it's an artifact. It's something people can actually hold on to. They might pin it to a bulletin board or tuck it into a drawer. It becomes this tangible reminder of that positive feeling, and it extends the emotional impact long after that moment has passed.
Now here's where it gets really interesting, how all these things link together. It all starts with that pause we talked about, right? That shows you value the connection. That simple acknowledgement starts to build a foundation of trust. Then, over time, that trust deepens and it turns into genuine loyalty. And that loyalty, that's what fuels real, sustainable success, whether it's in your business or in your personal life. It's an absolutely powerful ripple effect.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but let's look at some actual proof. We're going to dig into a real-world case study of a realtor who turned this simple act of gratitude into an absolute powerhouse referral engine for his business.
And get this isn't some super complex, expensive marketing strategy. Nope, it's a true story about a New England realtor who just adopted one simple habit. And it perfectly illustrates how accessible this superpower really is for any of us. So, the whole thing boils down to this. The action was incredibly simple. A handwritten card after every single closing. The reaction was totally organic. Clients were so touched by this personal gesture that they just started talking about it. They showed the cards to their friends, to their family, and the result? It was transformative. His referral network absolutely exploded, all because of this one consistent, heartfelt habit. And this quote from the source really just nails the whole idea behind his success. It wasn't about sending some big, expensive gift. It was all about the sincerity. People can feel authenticity, and that's what truly creates a memorable experience and builds a brand that people actually want to talk about.
Okay, so we've seen the why and we've seen the proof. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. This is where we figure out how to build your own gratitude habit. And it's a simple 3-step framework you can seriously start using today.
Okay, first off, just start small. Don't try to thank everyone for everything all at once. You'll burn yourself out. Just pick one specific moment, like after a meeting, or after a sale, or when someone sends you a referral, and make that your trigger. Second, and this is probably the most important part, make it personal. Don't just write, "Thanks for your help." Mention one specific detail that proves you are actually paying attention. So instead of "great meeting," try something like, "Thank you for your time today. Your insight on the Q3 budget was so helpful. It gave me a totally new perspective." See? That specificity is what makes someone feel truly seen. And finally, you have to be consistent. This is the absolute key to building real momentum.
And this is so important. A single thank you note is nice. It's a sweet gesture. But a consistent habit of sending them? That becomes a system. It's how you go from creating a one-off positive moment to building a reputation for being thoughtful and appreciative. And that is incredibly powerful for your long-term relationships. So as we start to wrap this up, let's bring it all together. The core takeaway here is that a thank you note is so much more than just a piece of paper. It's a strategic act of connection that can have a massive, almost disproportionate impact on your growth. So, what should you really walk away with from all this? Just remember these 4 things. A simple note makes people feel seen and valued. It builds a real, tangible, emotional connection that lasts. The magic ingredients are sincerity and consistency. And finally, remember that this one small habit can actually become one of the biggest growth engines you have.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. In our endless search for big, flashy, game-changing strategies, we so often overlook the small, simple, human things. So what if the biggest impact you could make tomorrow, in your career, in your relationships, comes from your smallest, most human gesture? Who are you going to thank today?